Welcome back to the channel. Have Roots, Will Travel. My name is Lisa Elvin Stiltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. I have done, over the last several years, a lot of videos about Les Filles du Roi and the marriageable girls. I've done videos on travel and basic genealogy concepts. Today we are focusing on Les Filles du Roi number 279. That means we did 278 videos already. Oh my gosh. So let's get started. Before we begin, I remind you to subscribe, like, and notify. All of that helps my channel. And those of you who are so inclined, you can also help my channel grow by looking at Patreon. And also the PayPal button on my website is always there. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Let's get started. Today we're going to look at episode 279, Marie Lafaye. She comes to us from a viewer request, and when I looked in my files, yes, indeed, one of my genealogical associates or colleagues who helped me here in Tucson, this is also her great-grandmother, so I wanted to have a shout-out for that. Let's get to know Marie a little bit better. Marie was born in Saintes, which is found in the Nouvelle-Aquitaine region of France. And inside of that region, we find her in the Charente-Maritime department, which you can see right there. There are about 25,000 people that live in Saintes proper, but if you count the surrounding regions, it's about 56,000. So it makes it about the second largest city in this area. It has existed, Saintes has, since Roman times and was the very first Roman capital of Aquitaine. It was also spelled with an X instead of an S in case you ever run across that spelling. That cathedral that you see in the bottom middle of the screen is the Cathedral of Saint-Pierre, which is now a national monument. It was the seat of the Bishop of Saintes. The origins of this church date back to the 12th century, and the current building was rebuilt in the 14th and 15th centuries. But its renovations were never truly completed, as this church endured much damage during the French Wars of Religion and the attacks from the Protestant Revolution. Now, you can see on the bottom right of your screen a Roman amphitheater, or the remains thereof. So that gives you an idea of how old this place truly is. That church of Saint-Pierre is the one that we believe Marie Lafaye was baptized in. On her father's death, she would embark on the great adventure of her life as a fille du roi. And she would get on that ship, the very first one, toward the New World and New France, Le Phoenix de Fliching. And she would arrive in New France on June 30th, 1663. The groom that she selected and who selected her, his name, René Aymon, and he was born in 1641 in the parish of Saint-Martin on the Ile de Ré. His parents were Jean Aymon and Jeanne Charrier. The Ile de Ré is an island off the coast of La Rochelle, and it dates from the 7th and 8th century. Throughout its history, it has been ruled by both France and England. It's also been part of the Huguenot revolutions of France. Today, the population is about 17,000 people. A bridge was built in 1987 connecting it to the mainland. As you can imagine, it is a major tourist attraction, and there are an incredible amount of historical monuments to visit. When I looked at the pictures, it truly looked like a slice of paradise. We know that René was confirmed in 1662 in New France, so we know that he was there. He obviously either had completed an apprenticeship or was simply coming on his own, but nevertheless, he was able to select a wife and present obviously some sort of housing or some sort of ability to take care of her, because on October 22nd, 1663, not wasting much time, they were married at Quebec City. He first settled at Quebec City, and let's review. Obviously, for those of you who know Quebec, Quebec City is the capital of the province of Quebec in Canada. 500,000 people live directly in Quebec City. It was originally named by the Algonquins, who named the area Quebec, Quebec, which in their native language meant where the river narrows, and Quebec City lies where the St. Lawrence River narrows. Samuel Champlain founded a French settlement here in 1608 and called it Ville de Quebec, or Quebec City. The city walls which surround it still date back to this time period, making Quebec City the only city with remaining city walls in North America. There's so much to see in North America, but I wanted in Quebec City, but I have chosen a couple of places where I really think it speaks to the history and what they would have seen. The Maison Jacquet is the oldest surviving private residence in Quebec. It dates from 1675, and it is actually a restaurant now called Aux Anciens Canadiens, to our old Canadians, roughly translated. And this on the bottom left of your screen is what they call the Petit Champlain, which claims to be the oldest commercial district in North America. So we can imagine that Marie and René would have seen, perhaps not the house, because even they predate the house, but it would have been being built while they were in this area. Certainly the Petit Champlain was there. And so it's kind of neat to imagine them settling down a little bit in Quebec City, but they didn't stay there for long. A few years into their marriage, René and Marie would decide to move to the Ile d'Orléans, the island of Orleans. So for René, who came from the Ile de Ré, this must have seemed like home. Now, the Ile d'Orléans is located in the St. Lawrence River, about 3 miles east of downtown Quebec City. The island was actually one of the very first parts of the province to be colonized by the French, and a large percentage of French Canadians can trace their ancestry to the early residents of this island. Now, later changed the name to Ile d'Orléans because it used to be called Grande Ile, Sainte Marie, Saint Laurent, but it was changed in honor of the Duke of Orléans, who was Henri II, the second son of King Francis I. And so you can imagine that they were, attracted to the island. I mean, look at it. And I was there last summer in 2023, and it was absolutely more than these pictures. I have to tell you that if you have any French Canadian ancestry whatsoever, you need to go to this island and smell the air and see the land, because it will really, for me anyway, it was a huge thing to experience. And we did island, which I regret so much. When we started off in Saint Petronille, and then if you can see in the middle diagram, there are even on this small island, there are 6 sections of it. So you have Saint Pierre, Saint Famille, which is the oldest and largest, Saint François, Saint Jean, which I didn't get to, so obviously bucket list, and Saint Laurent. So you need to identify for yourself what is the most important. For me, on this trip, it was to go to Saint Famille and experience the monument and all of that. So I had a lot of things going on that I really needed to explore, but we ran out of time and it was crazy busy and very hot. So if you can try to go in the middle of the week, on not the middle of July, that might be helpful. Let's have a look at the 1666 census. We find René and Marie and their daughter Marie and their son François living there in 1666. In 1667, we have René and Marie, and she's aged 4 years and he's aged 1. Go figure. Marie Madeleine is now 3 years old. François is 2. And they have 3 beasts, in other words, 3 cattle, and 3 arpents. So it's about 1.5 acres of land that they possess on the island. So their family would grow. 10 in all were the children that were born to them. We have Marie Madeleine, who married Nicolas Dupuis and would have 2 children, both of whom made it. We have François. No other information is available for him. Suzanne married Jean Renaud and would have 5 children, all of whom made it to adulthood. Joseph would pass away in infancy. Robert married Maître Dompierre. Catherine's mother was Marie-Agnès Destouches, who's a fille du roi who we have not yet profiled. Anne would pass away at the age of 3. Renée would marry Louise Senal and would have 3 children, 2 of whom would make it to adulthood. Anne would marry François Bétonnet and would have 1 child, but unfortunately did not make it. Jeanne would marry Charles Bélanger and would have 6 children, 5 of whom would make it to adulthood. And then we have Joseph that we have no other information about. Now in the 1681 census, we have René and Marie, and we have Madeleine, we have François, who's still there, even though we don't know what happened to him. Suzanne, Robert is there, René is there, Anne, the second Anne, is there, and they now have 4 alfalfa, about 2 acres of land. René would die sometime between 1705 and 1706 at about the age of 64. He and Marie would have been married about 42 years. Amazing. Marie herself would pass away on December 28, 1708 at the age of 65, and she left us with 88 descendants. I love when I can find these stories. Finding René is found in the 14th volume of our French-Canadian ancestors. I have a link for you to be able to find where he is, where this particular biography is. It's a wonderful Facebook group called our Free French-Canadian Ancestors. If you cannot get a copy of this book, they are rare. Many people have told me they have them or they have it available. I have not been that blessed, but I was very blessed to find this Facebook page and all that it does to be able to transmit this information. So have a look at that. It's in the notes. This is called the Founders Monument. This is where I spent a great deal of time last summer photographing each individual panel so that I could later transmit the photographs to the descendants. So we have René Aymon, originaire de Saint-Martin, marié à Marie Lafaye, Saint-Jean, 1666. So they were at Saint-Jean. And then on the E, we have Aymon, René Aymon, and Marie Lafaye. They are there for all eternity. So if this is your ancestry, there you are. So it's just a wonderful tribute. So ends our story of Marie Lafaye and René Aymon. I love this story because every time I get to go back to the Ile d'Orléans, I am reminded of all the wonderful memories I have there, but also these amazing people that just built a life and created, obviously there are still descendants that are alive today based on this one couple. So we want to thank Marie for her bravery, for her courage, and for her tenacity, and of maintaining and making certain that her legacy and her contribution to the tapestry that is, Quebec and North America continues. Thank you, Marie. We bless your memory. And with that, let me thank my patrons and supporters. I couldn't do this without you. You always are part of my heart. Thank you so very, very much. And with that, I will say au revoir until the next episode.